The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and future. Yesterday afternoon at Wrigley Field, the Chicago Cubs pulled a fast one on the Los Angeles Dodgers, coming back to win 4-3. The Dodgers got up early. Steve Garvey and Pedro Guerrero hit solo shots to take a 2-0 lead in the second, but Keith Moreland's solo shot in the bottom of the second made it 2-1. When the Dodgers loaded the bases in the third and could not score, the Cubs pulled ahead in the fourth. Larry Bowa singled home two to give the Cubs a lead, but Dusty Baker singled home Bill Russell in the seventh to tie the game, and then it was a stalemate until the 11th when Bump Wills singled home Woods to win the game. The Cubs are now 26-20. They beat the Dodgers 4-3 as they meet this afternoon at Wrigley Field. As Retro Sports Network presents a kind of a soggy lunchtime replay between the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, I wasn't sure if we'd even get the chance to do this today. YouTube is kind of being a little fussy, but we are going to get this one in, or try to get this one in anyway, between the Cubs and the Dodgers. The Cubs are kind of... Hold on. As I put the standings up and everything that you can see, the Cubs are a surprise. They're in second place in the National League East. They shouldn't be, but they are. They're 6 games behind the Montreal Expos. The Dodgers hold a 6-game lead over the Atlanta Braves in the National League West. The Dodgers are supposed to be there. Atlanta and San Francisco are 500 teams kind of fighting around in the American League. Although California and Milwaukee are playing, it's a night game, and we generally don't do Saturday night games. We're making the exception for Baltimore and Toronto. So the National League, as we hit into Memorial Day weekend, it's time to start paying attention to the standings. They mean something now. And Montreal is tied for Detroit with the best record in baseball at 30-12. So you need to pay attention to where your favorite teams are as we head in. And if you're in the National League East fan, particularly the Cardinals, the good news is they're above 500 after 46 games. The bad news is they're 8 games out. And so the Dodgers and the surprising Cubs coming right up from Wrigley Field. So this is the 575th game as Dave Stewart goes for the Dodgers and Dickie Knowles goes for the Cubs. It is 59 degrees on this 29th day of May, and even for Chicago, that's cold. Get all over screens in a row here. Oops, no. No such thing. There we go. So the rain is kind of off and on. And so there will be a game. So the Dodgers come in at 29-17. The Cubs, as I said, the big surprise in the National League, 26-20. This is supposed to be a 100-loss team. Dickie Knowles is on the hill this afternoon for Chicago. He is 4-2 on the year with a 3.24 ERA. And if you notice, that is a full run and a quarter both under his real-life numbers. This will be his 11th start. His last one came against San Diego, presumably 5 days ago against the Padres. He went 7 innings en route to his 4th win, 7 hits, 3 runs all earned. He walked 1 and struck out 2. So 66 2/3 innings, 58 hits, 4 homers. He has walked 15 and struck out 35. And is 4-2. The lineup for Los Angeles, the computer's playing Los Angeles today. Steve Sachs will lead off and play second. George Orta is still at right field. He'll bat second. Dusty Baker, the hero from last night, the left fielder, will bat third. Pedro Guerrero, the center fielder, will bat fourth. Steve Garvey, the first baseman, will bat fifth. Ron Say, third baseman, will bat sixth. Mike Scioscia is catching. He'll bat 7th. Bill Russell, the shortstop, will bat 8th. It's the same 8 regular fielders that played in the Wednesday night game. And Uncle Dave Stewart is on the mound. He's good for 110 pitches and will bat 9th. There is no wind here in Chicago. It's 59 and unseasonably cold for this time of year in the Midwest. Molinaro is your left fielder, and he's terrible. He's a 1 and a 2. That's a Lawrence Welk number. Leon Durham is in center. He's a 3 and a 9. Great arm, not great range. Keith Moreland is in right, 6 and 6. Around the infield, yep, that's Ryan Sandberg at third. Bet you never thought you'd see that. Larry Boa is at short. He's a 7. Bump Wills, the Friday winner, is at second, and Bill Buckner is a 7 at first. Wills a 5 at second, and Jody Davis behind the plate, a 5 and a 6. The Cubs playing in for Sachs, who can bunt 217, a homer, and 11 RBI. And this game starts with a ground ball up the middle. Wills with a stop behind the bag over to Buckner for the out. So a great play for Wills. I wonder when they realized that Ryan Sandberg was a better option second than a third. George Orta, 156, no homers or RBI. The pitch, and there's a base hit in the left center. He's going for 2. The throw is not in time, so Orta has a double. And that brings up Dusty Baker. 282, 6 homers and 29 RBI. Knowles is ready. He had already done a number of years with the Phillies before coming to the north side. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Boa, long throw to Buckner. And it is not in time. Orta goes, no, it is in time. Orta goes to third, and the runner is retired at first in Baker. And 2 out for Guerrero at 276. 13 homers and 36 RBI. Knowles deals, and there's a fly ball to right. Moreland goes back, and it's off the wall. That hit high off the growing ivy. Orta scores. Guerrero's on second, and again the Dodgers strike first, 1-0. And that brings up Steve Garvey at 324, 7 homers and 26 RBI. So DJ John got his wish. Dodgers are up first. Pitch to Garvey. And that's going to fall for a base hit in the left. Molinaro will cut it off. Guerrero will score. And the Dodgers are up 2-0 before the fans can get their Budweisers. And that brings up Ron Say, who would later be the third baseman for the Chicago Cubs. At 188, 3 homers and 13 RBI. How you doing, Mr. Mike? Knowles deals, and Say pops this one up. Right side, Wills is there. And that retires the side, so the Dodgers break on top. They get 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors. We go to the bottom of the first. It's an NBC dream. Market number 3 leads 2-0 over market number 2. So Dave Stewart is on the hill for Los Angeles. He's 0-2 with 2 saves and an ERA of 6.75. This was obviously before he became Uncle Stu. This is his 3rd start of the year. He would be kind of that Swiss Army knife pitcher who would do relief and starting appearances, given the nickname Smoke. His last appearance was atrocious against the Pirates, I believe on Monday. 2 innings, 6 hits, 8 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1, so that gives him 28 innings, 37 hits, 4 home runs. He has walked 5 and struck out 19. In the loss, his ERA ballooned from 4.5 to 6.75. Against the Cubs, presumably at Dodger Stadium 10 days ago, he went 7 innings, 10 hits, 3 runs all earned, and struck out 6 in a no decision. To the lineup that he will face, it's Bump Wills will lead off. Ryan Sandberg will bat second. Billy Buckner will hit third. Keith Moreland will bat fourth. Leon Durham will hit fifth. Molinaro, I think it's Bob, not Al from Happy Days, will bat sixth. Larry Bowe, the shortstop, will hit seventh. Jody Davis behind the plate, and Nicky Knowles, a good hitter, through 25 pitches in the first. So Dusty Baker a 9 and 5 in left. Pedro Guerrero, not great range, a 3 and an 8 in center. And George Orta a 7 and 6 in right. Ron Say a 6 at third. Bill Russell a 7 at short. Steve Sachs at 6 at second. Darby an 8 at first, and Socha 7 and 5. So Stewart's ready. You can't pitch any worse than either last time out. Bump at 287, a homer and 14 RBI. It's 19 stolen bases. The pitch, ball force, not what the Dodgers wanted, and Wills goes to first. 3-0 pitch was low and away, and that'll bring up Ryan Sandberg. Slow start for Rhino, 222, a homer and 10 RBI. But we're going to cheat. We're going to hit and run here. Pitch from Stewart. There goes Wills. Sandberg sends that into right field, and Orta goes back to the track for the out. Will scampers back, and there's one out for Buckner. Bill at 337, 5 homers and 31 RBI. I miss anybody? I don't think so. So Buckner's ready. One out, bottom of the first. Stewart delivers, and there's a ground ball to Russell. To Sachs for 1, and there's going to be no throw. So Los Angeles will gladly trade Buckner for Wills on the bases. And there's 2 out for Keith Moreland, who's at 268, 9 homers and 30 RBI. So you can see the basis of this good Cubs team from '84. But they're not quite there yet. Stewart delivers, and Moreland sends this one into right. Orta makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. They string in 1. After 1, it's the Dodgers 2, the Cubs nothing. And so it'll be Socha, Russell, and Stewart. I'm working on my tee. Here in the second. Knowles is pitched, ball 4. So Socha drew a 3-1 pitch high. First walk for Knowles, and that'll bring up Bill Russell. At 252, he already has 2 home runs and 18 RBI. Has a very good batting eye, too. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to short. Boa to Wills for 1. Over to Buckner. Call it 2. He got him. So a good throw by Wills. And so there's 2 quick outs for Uncle Stu. Dave Stewart is 0 for 2 on the year. 179 hitter in real life with 2 RBI. So 2 quick out for Knowles, who needed the good inning after he struggled in the first. Pitch from Dickey. Got him. He's strike 3 called on a 1-2 fastball. Nothing across for the Dodgers in the top of the second after 1.5, but still, Los Angeles 2, Chicago nothing. So Leon Durham will face Dave Stewart to start the second. Molinaro and Boa to follow. Durham at 331, 11 homers and 33 RBI. And if a certain person is watching from Maine, we are sorry to let you know that Marcel Marceau was let go from his position as our mime announcer, and he left a message, but it was just a blank sheet of paper. Who knew? Pitch to Durham. Fly ball left center. Guerrero goes back and makes the catch for the out. It is Bob Molinaro. What'd you have for breakfast this morning, Ron? I don't know. Who was the left fielder for this 82 Cubs? I think Bob Molinaro. Bob looking very 1982 in that shot. 172 on the year with 3 RBI. 1 out. Bottom of the second. And that's a ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Don't make fun of the bench players, Ron, and come back to bite you. So that's the first hit for the Cubs. And that'll bring up Larry Boa, who is having a marvelous first quarter of the year at 280, and 21 RBI. Didn't hit a homer in real life, and I don't expect him to hit one here. Stewart from the one. Stretch throws ball 4. So runners on first and second. 3-1 pitch was a ball. That's Stewart's second walk, and that'll bring up Jody Davis at 245 for homers and 11 RBI. So Cubs in business here in the bottom of the second. It's from Stewart. Davis, base hit left side. Molinaro will hold it third. And that brings up the good hitting Dickie Knowles, who is 6 for 21. He's already equaled his real life number. It's 2 doubles with an RBI, and the bases are full of Cubbies. Do you squeeze here? Say and Garvey are playing in like they're expecting it. I'm going to swing him. There's only one out. Just don't hit into a double play. You got Bump Wills on deck. Stewart deals. Struck him out. 0-2 pitch. He swung under that one, and I don't think he minds that too much. So still, Molinaro on third. Boa, who will score on a base hit on second, and Jody Davis on first. Stewart, through 9 batters, has gone an inning and 2/3, 2 hits, no runs yet. He has walked 2 and struck out 1, including Bump Wills, which was one of those walks. Stewart needs to be careful. Ground ball to Garvey. Quick throw to Stewart covering. And the Dodgers get out of the jam. The Cubs load the bases and can't produce. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. After 2, it's the Dodgers 2, the Cubs nothing. Only if I want my orange juice. Yep, well, I'm diabetic. I can't drink orange juice. There are lots of things I can kind of sneak around and have some parts of, but orange juice is just pure sugar. It's good. I can eat oranges, but I can't drink orange juice. And all that to tell you that Dickie Knowles has gone 2 innings and faced 9 batters. He's thrown 40 pitches, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1. Steve Sachs is 0 for 1. And Knowles delivers, and that's right back to Dickie, over to Buckner for the out. So George Orta, who doubled in the first and scored, 1 for 1. Knowles delivers, and there's a base hit into center field. So George is 2 for 2. And that brings up Dusty Baker, who grounded out to Boa in the first. Knowles' pitch, shallow center, in comes Durham. He's back, Orta goes back to first. And there's 2 out for Pedro Guerrero, who doubled home Orta in the first. That's 37 RBI on the year. Had 100 on the real year. Dusty Baker, well, you should have, Bobby. Managed the Giants, managed the Nationals, managed the Reds, and managed these Cubs. Never won a World Series as a manager. He took the 2002 Giants to the series, and they blew the big lead in the 6th inning, or the 7th inning of Game 6 against the Angels. Pitch to Guerrero, struck him out. He swung on and missed an 0-2, and that retires the side. No runs, no hit, 1 hit, no errors. 2.5 in the books. Los Angeles 2, Chicago nothing, and don't worry, Bobby, Dusty Baker's not related to Johnny Mathis. There's a good chance of that anyway. So it'll be Ryan Sandberg, Bill Buckner, and Keith Moreland here in the bottom of the third. 2-0 Los Angeles. Stewart delivers, and Sandberg pounds out 1 to Sachs. Good throw to Garvey for the out. So Stewart, who had the bases loaded against him in the second, has a bagel up on the scoreboard. Here's Buckner. Bill is 0 for 1. Bill grounded out to Billy Russell in his first time in the first. Fly ball to left. Baker goes in the corner, and he's got it in the bullpen. There's not a lot of room down here at Wrigley Field. And so he steps over in the foul ground by the bullpens and makes the catch for the second out. And that brings up Keith Moreland. The pitch, ground ball to the middle, sacks by the bag at second, long throw to Garvey, and that retires the side. A clean inning for Stewart and the Dodgers. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 3, Los Angeles 3, the Cubbies not. Los Angeles 2, the Cubbies nothing. So Garvey, Say, and Socha here in the 4th. Knowles' pitch, Garvey. Inside corner, full count, struck him out. That's 3 for Knowles. Dickey is not related to Beyonce, by the way. Actually, I think for Beyonce, it's Knowles, right? Netflix makes the very best. All right, Ron Say is 0 for 1. Pitch from Knowles. Fly ball to left. Back goes Molinaro, and he makes the catch. That ball was hit a mile high. A rainmaker, but it's a clear day, and nothing came out of it. Here's Socha. Socha walked his first time up. And there's a little looper that's going to drop in front of Moreland, and the Dodgers have a 2-out base hit. 5th hit for the Dodgers off of Knowles. That'll bring up Billy Russell, who grounded into a double play his first time up. Davis goes out to talk to Knowles and chat about the weather, and Russell draws ball 4. Well, that's not what you wanted, especially with the pitcher up. You wanted a third out of the inning, and then you start with Stewart to start the 5th. But instead, you got to blow it. And of course you know who Johnny Mathis is. Pitch from Knowles. Stewart, ground ball to third. Sandberg with a diving stop and a long throw to Buckner to get him on a bang-bang play. So how about that? No runs, no hits, and no one hit, no errors. After 3.5, it's still the Dodgers 2, the Cubs nothing. So another white 0 goes up on that scoreboard in center field, and that'll bring up Leon Durham, Bob Molinaro, and Larry Boa. Leon is 0 for 1. Stewart's ready. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. The 0-2 cutter, strike 3 called. And that'll bring up Bob Molinaro, who singled his first time up. Stewart delivers, and there's a fly ball to shallow right. Orta comes in, and there's 2 quick out. So Stewart is making good work out of the Cubs. And a Dodger win today in game 48 would make them a 30-game winner in 1982. Larry Boa walked his first time up. Ground ball up the middle. Stewart to Garvey, and that retires the side. Another clean inning by Stewart. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 4, Dodgers 2, Cubs nothing. So Dickie Knowles threw 18 batters, 77 pitches, 4 innings, 5 hits, and 2 runs are earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 3. Steve Sachs is 0 for 2. Pitch from Knowles, ball forward, not what Dickie wanted. And so Sachs, full count, just missed low. And that'll bring up George Orta, who's got a single, a double, and a run scored. And take a look over at the Cubs booth this year, the Cubs television booth, and you see 2 unhappy people. Longtime broadcaster Jack Rickhouse retired at the end of the 81 season. That's Knowles pitches to Orta, and there goes Sachs, and Sachs steals it. Uncle Ron was going to tell the story and didn't pay any attention to Sachs and his 82% steal percentage at first. Bad Ron. So that's the 13th for Sachs on the year, and the count's 0-1. So Jack Rickhouse retired. That's okay. I don't think Robbie is Al's Twitter husband, Bobby. And so the Cubs had an opening for broadcaster. And so they plucked Harry Carey away from the South Side. He was with the White Sox for 7, 8 years, worked with Jimmy Pearsall, and paired him with Milo Hamilton, who some of you might remember was the Braves announcer on the call for Henry Aaron's 715. Look at the bad home run. Here's the pitch to Orta. Chopper down to Bo. A fantastic play over to Buckner for the out. Sachs will hold. So Boa's defense is fine, and there's one out. That brings up Dusty Baker, who's 0 for 2. Hamilton was a long-time announcer for a number of teams. You might know him mostly if you're younger for his work with the Houston Astros. Well, Milo, let's just say that Milo was Milo's best friend. And Harry was Harry's best friend. Now, Milo thought he was going to get the job in Chicago and be the lead announcer for the Cubs and all that, and it didn't happen that way. They hired Harry. Milo sulked over at the radio side for most of it, but there's a clip, and I think it's from the day whenever they retired Ernie Banks' number. It's not why you see the 14 there on the screen. Pitch to Baker. Fly ball to center. Durham should have it, and he does too. Sachs will go to third, and he's out there. So the Cubs get a double play. They run on Durham, and Sachs gets greedy and is thrown out at third. Well, I'm not Vince Scully. I can't finish my stories without 3 outs. Halfway home, it's the Dodgers 2. The Cubs nothing. Anyway, as I said, Milo and Harry's best friends were themselves. So there's a video from the 82 season, the day they retired Ernie Banks' number, 14. And Milo and Harry are calling the game together on television. And the temperature now says 61. You would have thought you were setting the ice at Chicago Stadium with the Blackhawks. I mean, that relationship was frosty with a capital F. That's not that Harry story is going to tell, but just putting that out there. That was not a happy booth. Now, eventually, Steve Stone retired from the Orioles and the White Sox. I think he retired with the Orioles, and they brought him in to work with Harry Carey. And for those of you that had WGN all those years, you know about that match. And that was tense at times, too. Jody Davis is 1 for 1. Don't make the third out at third, D. Scott Howard says. Yes, it blows my stories, D. Scott, when Steve Sachs does dumb things. Pitch to Davis is 1 for 1. Struck him out. He swung on and missed an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, and there's 1 out. Excuse me, that brings up Dickie Knowles is 0 for 1. Boy, that story bored so many people I lost viewers. Pitch to Knowles. Got him. 2-2 curve on the inside corner. How you doing there, D. Scott? So Bump Wills comes up. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Stewart threw 18 batters to settle in. Remember, he had the bases loaded in the second and got out of it unscathed. So after 18 batters, 4 2/3 innings, 72 pitches, 2 hits, no runs. He has walked 2 and struck out 4. Here's the pitch. There's a little number. Sachs comes in on the grass over to Garvey, and that retires the side. So Stewart living the life of Riley right now. After 5, I'm doing fine, D. Scott. After 5, it's the Cubs 2, or the Dodgers 2. I haven't gotten the score right all day. Dodgers 2, Cubs nothing. Harry was with, we'll get to this in the 7th inning. Harry was with the Cardinals for years. He and Jack Buck, you go back and watch clips of the 68 World Series, and it's Harry that's doing the TV play-by-play with Kurt Gowdy. Guerrero, Garvey, and Say, by the way, for the Dodgers. Pedro is 1 for 2. He has struck out and doubled, scored, and drove in a run. Pitch from Knowles. Guerrero, fly ball to left. Back goes Molinaro to the track, and he'll turn and watch it go. So the Dodgers go up 3-0. On the solo shot from Guerrero, And somebody in the bleachers who's had a couple too many old styles on this chilly day fires that ball back in there. So as you watch Guerrero hit his 14th of the year, and that brings a long run by Knowles if he's getting runners out. No question about that. That scoreboard obviously wouldn't be there in 82. The old Torco sign was there, or if you go back old enough, a billboard for WGN. Sun brings up Garvey. Steve is 1 for 2 with a single, a strikeout, and an RBI. Guerrero now has 2 RBI in the day. 6 hits for the Dodgers. They lead 3-0 here in the 6th. Pitch to Garvey. Fly ball to left. Molinaro will track this one down. 1 out. Where was I? Ron says at the plate he's 0 for 2. It was rumored that that Harry and the daughter of the owner of the St. Louis Cardinals, Augie Bush, did some things that would be considered biblical when they weren't married, and that kind of ended Harry's tenure with the Cardinals. He went for a couple years to Oakland with the A's, and Oakland is notoriously cheap and didn't pay, and so that's how he ended up with the White Sox. But most people know him with the Cubs. And I believe he spent the better part of 15 years in St. Louis. No, he spent the better part of 20 years in St. Louis. Also called the Browns games when they were home, when they shared Sportsman's Park. I told you what Say's been up to. Not much. Pitch from Knowles, popped up left side. Sandberg, 2 out. That brings up Mike Scioscia. He has singled and walked. Knowles at 97 pitches. He has pitched all right. Hasn't pitched great. Hasn't gotten a lot of support from his team. Scioscia draws ball 4. So Knowles snaps the glove back with the ball. 4th walk for Dickey. His control's usually a little bit better than that. Bill Russell has walked and grounded into a double play. And by the way, that was on 4 straight pitches, which makes Knowles even more upset. Knowles delivers up the middle. Wills from behind the bag. The throw to Buckner is in time. And so the Dodgers go down, but not before a solo shot by Pedro Guerrero. A run on that lone hit makes it Los Angeles 3, Chicago nothing. Yeah, exactly. 67 and 68 World Series coverage. And Harry, before he turned into Harry, the Harry that most of you guys know, was actually a very good bread and butter announcer. But for those of D. Scott's age, I'm not saying that D. Scott and Clinton are old. I mean, they got to think of Harry as a Cardinal announcer first, as opposed to a Cub announcer. Ryan Sandberg will lead us off. It was Sandberg, Buckner, and Moreland. Rhino's 0 for 2. I saw Ryan Sandberg play in 1981, as a matter of fact, with the Reading Phillies against the Waterbury Reds, the Waterbury, Connecticut. And he still strikes out. 2-2 pitch, swung on him, missed strike 3. So here's Billy Buckner. Bill sitting on a 6-game hitting streak. Cubs are being 2-hit. Molinaro and Davis. The lone hits for Chicago. 3-0 Los Angeles. Pitch from Stewart. Chopper. Scioscia picks it up. And he won't make a throw. Buckner dodging that. Billy Buckner beat out an infield single. An excuse me swing. And he makes it all the way to first. Here's Steve Moreland. Moreland is 0 for 2. Yeah, I think a brick house with the Cubs too. Uh-oh. Hold on a sec. I wonder if my Facebook's been hacked. What? Did not reset my Facebook password. Someone's trying to hack my Facebook. Hold on 1 second. Technical difficulties on the Retro Sports Network. Well, that's exciting. I just got a text message that's what my Facebook password change code is going to be, and I didn't ask for one. Isn't that good? So we'll see if I get any. There was nothing on the Facebook, and I'll change that later. So Stewart, so it's going on for Buckner. I'll get an email if someone actually does successfully change it. So Moreland's 0-2. Pitch to T. There's a ground ball, base hit right side. Buckner will hold at second. There's 1 out and 2 on for Leon Durham. Yeah, I've never gotten one. Thankfully, I have my cell phone number attached to the. If someone tries to change it, that's how I got the notification. That's weird. All right, so here's Durham. Durham is 0-2 with a strikeout. Ball 4, so they're loaded again. So the Cubbies are in business here in the 6th. It's Buckner on third, Moreland on second, Durham on first for no. Who are our other choices here? Anybody's got to be better than Bob Molinaro with the bases loaded. Righty. Who can hit a righty? Scott Thompson can hit a righty. Scott over 6 on the year, of course, now that I bring him in. But a 365 hitter on the real year and 362 against righties. And it is a nice crowd at Wrigley Field, Steve. Glad to have you with us. Pitch from Stewart, up the middle, sacks, throws to Russell for 1, over to Garvey, and I think Thompson beat it out. Yes, sir. Not in time. So there's no double play. It was a double play ball, but Russell got his hands kind of caught trying to take it out. The Cubs are on the board. It's 3-1. As Buckner will score, and Larry Boa is at the plate, who was 0-1 with a walk. So the tying run is on base and Thompson. And Boa, the potential go-ahead run. They finally got to Dave Stewart. He'd been a weeble wobble. They knocked him around, but he wouldn't go down. Dynac Delver has a new video out. Boa, base hit into right field, or to pitch it up. Moreland will score. Thompson goes to third. It's now 3-2. So the Cubs are rallying here in the 6th. And that'll bring up Jody Davis. Jody's 1 for 2. He has singled and struck out. And so the Cubs are in business now. The tying run at third, the go-ahead run is Boa. And you wonder now just how much longer Tommy's going to stick with Dave Stewart. Sosha and Stewart have a beating out from the mines here. And the pitch, Davis strikes out. He swung on and missed an 0-2 pitch. And that retires the side, but not before. The Cubs get 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors. After 6, it's the Dodgers 3, the Cubs 2. So Steve Henderson goes in the game and left. He will bat 6. We will see what the Dodgers do with Dave Stewart here to start the 7th inning. He's 0-2 with the strikeout. Dickie Knowles would pitch to Stewart. I don't know if I'd have him pitch to a pinch hitter. The pinch hitter is Ron Renicky. And Ron is 3 for 11 on the year. A 259 hitter. And we're going to come get Knowles. Ooh, we pitched everybody last night, though. Lee Smith started 5 games? Wow. Okay, so we're going to let him pitch to Renicky and see how much longer he can work. Deleted the body. So Knowles delivers to Renicky, ground ball to Boa, better hurry over to Bruckner, 1 out. So here's Steve Sachs, he's 0 for 2 with a walk. Here's the pitch. There's a big hit in the right field, going for 2. Moreland's throwing to Boa, he's not in time, and Lee Elliott will come out to get Dickie Knowles. So George Orta to face Willie Hernandez. Willie making his 20th relief appearance. Has a record of 2-4 with 4 saves and an ERA of 6.62, which isn't good. He pitched yesterday. In fact, the entire Cubs bullpen pitched yesterday. Went an inning, allowed 3 hits, a run it was earned, he struck out 2. He's allowed 3 homers on the year, walked 6 and struck out 15, and his ERA is an unhealthy 6.62. And so Darryl Thomas will pinch hit for Orta. Can't say I'm surprised at that. So Orta's day is done. He had a single, a double, and a run scored. Sachs on second, top of the 7th, 1 out. Darryl Thomas at 306 with 5 RBI and does hit lefties well. And Hernandez has to pitch to him. And Thomas slaps that one into left. Henderson will try to make a dive. He dives and makes a fantastic catch. Steve Henderson did what Bob Molinaro probably would not have done. He made a diving catch for the 2nd out. So a wonderful play by Henderson. 2 out for Dusty Baker, who's 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. Gets away from Davis. Sachs goes to 3rd on the pass ball. So now the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Dusty's 0 for 3. 3-2 Dodgers here in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Liner to center. Durham makes the catch to retire the side. Steve Howe coming in to pitch for the Dodgers. Time to stretch it here at Wrigley. Dodgers 3, Cubbies 2. And I'm not going to sing again. I sang last week, and I really can't sing. That's not me being humble. That's me being brutally honest. But I will tell you this Harry Carey story, because Harry did the take me out to the ballgame thing at Comiskey. That's on YouTube somewhere. And I don't know if D. Scott's still around, if he did that with the Cardinals or not. At both Sportsman's or Bush. But when he was with the Cardinals, of course, Memphis isn't too far from St. Louis. And so Harry called basketball games for the Spirits of St. Louis in the ABA. And so one night, he's sitting in Memphis in his hotel. He told the story to Roy Firestone on the old show Sports Look or whatever that was. And so Harry's sitting in his hotel room, and he gets a phone call from someone claiming to be Elvis Presley. You better know who that is, Bobby. And so the guy, he's not sure if it's Elvis or not, but gives him a compliment, says he listens to him on the Cardinal games, knows he's in town for basketball. Would you like to get together for some dinner and come see my place? And Harry said yes, because Harry's a gregarious guy. And sure enough, an hour or two later, Elvis comes with one of those Cadillacs, and the two of them spend a fine evening eating ribs, drinking some adult beverages, and swapping stories at Graceland. I think that's a pretty cool story, don't you? And so there you go. That's my good story. Willie Hernandez will bat down 3-2 because we're going to have the heart of the Dodger order. He went over. He struck out all 3 times he faced on the year. Cubs pen all pitched last night, and so they're going to see what they can get out of Willie. If they can get a full inning out of him, all the better. So Howe delivers, and Hernandez strikes out. just kind of partially offered at a 1-2, and there's one out. For Buff Wills, who is 0 for 2 with the walk. Pitch to Buff, ground ball to Russell. Over to first, and Garvey steps on the bag. Thomas, by the way, is in right field for the Dodgers, and he's a 2-2. So Ryan Sandberg is 0 for 3. Rhino has a strikeout on the dance card. 2 out, bottom of the 7th, 3-2 Los Angeles. Pitch from Howe. Sandberg drops that one into right center for a base hit. And there's a 2-out single for Bill Buckner. Buckner 1 for 3. That infield hit his last time up, he scored. Harry was Harry. I mean, he was a homer. I mean, that's what Midwestern announcers are expected to be. So he rooted for the Cardinals, and of course the Cardinals had that stretch there in the late 60s when they won 3 pennants in 5 years. But he was a very good announcer. And of course his son Skip and grandson Chip. Pitch to Buckner, ground ball to Sachs. Only throw is to Garvey, so Sandberg goes to second. Buckner is out. Well, here's the reason why the only play was to first, because there was 2 out. I got one in earlier for that. The Guerrero homer. Speaking of that, the guy with the old style threw it back in the infield. Pedro Guerrero is 2 for 3. He's doubled and homered with 2 RBIs. Scored twice and struck out. Pitch from Hernandez. That's a ground ball base hit. So Guerrero finds himself only a triple away from the cycle. Don't know if the Dodgers will get another at bat. Thanks, Bobby. But if he could muster a triple, he would have the cycle. Garvey is 1 for 3. Struck out and has an RBI single. Hernandez deals, and there's another little looper that's going to fall in. So that's not what and Durham bats the round out there. Guerrero is going to go to third. Garvey's on at second, as Durham couldn't find a handle. And so that's a single and an E8. And that brings up Ron Say. With nobody out, they're going to walk him and bring up Mike Scioscia, who's 1 for 1. He has singled twice, or singled once and walked twice. And the Cubs have got to play him in. There's a force at every base, but you're not wanting to trade a run for an out here. So Davis goes out to chat with Hernandez. Willie comes home with it and got him. 2-2, swung on and missed. What a big out that was. And so that brings up Bill Russell. And now the Cubs would gladly take 2. D. Scott watched Pedro Guerrero play his A-League ball in Bellingham out in Washington. So a nice juicy ground ball is what the Cubs want here. 1 out, top of the 8th. 3-2 Dodgers. Here's the pitch, and he obliges. Boa to Wills for a 1 to Buckner. Got him. They turn it. And so the Cubbies get out of it. Rick Monday's coming in to play right field. And so after 7.5, it's the Dodgers 3, the Cubs 2. So Moreland, Durham, and Henderson. Nope, that wasn't it. Okay. So Moreland is 1 for 3. He has singled and scored. And hits this one up right back to Howe. 1 out. I forgot to tell you Howe's numbers, didn't I? He's and a 1.80 ERA, 2-1 with 4 saves. Got so busy telling the story. This is his 21st relief appearance. He went 3 innings yesterday against these Cubs, and it's his 3rd appearance against the Cubs in the last 10, or 4th in the last 10 days. Allowed 2 hits and struck out 2, and no decision. He's walked only 1 batter all year. And that was against the Mets on May 3rd. Bad play-by-play guy. So here's Leon Durham. He's 0 for 2. He struck out Milwaukee. Thanks. Yeah, that was the one that stuck with me. That's on YouTube. If you look up Harry, I think the interview was it might have been pre-stroke, so before '87, but maybe not. Pitch to Durham is a line drive in the right center. That's going all the way back in the ivy, and Durham is on third with a triple. So the Cubs have the tying run on third and 1 out for Steve Henderson, who is at 228 on the year, 2 homers and 17 RBI. Dodgers are playing in. Al at the belt. Delivers, and there's a base hit in the left center. Durham will score. The game is tied at 3, and Wrigley goes hooray! And the old style is spilling everywhere. And that brings up Larry Boa, who is 1 for 2. He has singled, walked, and driven in a run. So the Cubs continue to be one of the great stories of 1982. With a win, they would go to 27-20. And as I said, it's Memorial Day weekend. People should be paying attention now. They're in second place behind the Expos. Pitch to Boa. Up the middle, Russell steps on second, and no throw to Garvey because Russell rolled an ankle. Oh my. And so Mark Belanger comes out to play short. They'll toss it around for a minute. But Russell stepped awkwardly on second, and that's why there was no throw for Boa. Old style is an old Chicago beer, Robbie. That brings up Jody Davis. Jody is feast or famine today. He has singled and struck out twice. He's 1 for 3. One of those litany of old style, not Jody Davis. One of those litany of old-time breweries that kind of exist in name only. Narragansett here in the east, Schaefer, Hams, which was big in the Midwest and Texas, Olympia, out where D. Scott is. I'm sure he drank a couple of those back in the day. Pitch from Howe to Davis. There's a base hit up the middle. Guerrero cuts it off. Boa goes to third. And so there's 2 on and 2 out in a tie game. And they'll have to pinch hit for Willie Hernandez, of course. And who can hit lefties? Why, Gary Woods can hit lefties. And with 2 out, Gary's coming in to pinch hit. He's at 275 on the year with 8 RBI. So Boa, the go-ahead run at third, and Davis with that single is a huge insurance run. For the Dodgers in the 9th, it would be a pinch hitter for Howe, Sachs, and Rick Monday against a pitcher to be determined. So here we go, 2 out. And Socia goes out to speak to Howe. Here's the pitch. Woods, ground ball right back to Howe. He throws it over to Garvey, and that retires the side. But the Cubbies tie it up. A run on 3 hits, no error. We've played 8. It's the Dodgers 3 and the Cubs 3. Lucky Lager. Okay, never heard of Lucky. Oleg, someone brought back, and I suppose you gotta go with Lee Arthur. Lee Smith, 2-2 with 10 saves on the year, 3.18 ERA. He will make 5 starts on the year. I.V. Swizzle. I never knew that he started a game. This is his 26th relief appearance. He threw an inning yesterday against the Dodgers and didn't allow a thing. 34 innings, 29 hits, a home run. Walked 11 and struck out 12. Picked up his 10th save Wednesday against the Giants. or the Padres, because the Giants have played in San Diego forever. So we'll see what they bring in for Steve Howe. He's not going to bat here. Kenny Landreau comes up for the Dodgers at 230, a homer and 7 RBI. Well, unless you lived in those areas, Robbie, you wouldn't necessarily know that they exist. There's an effort by some of the smaller microbreweries to bring back some of these older names. Narragansett's a name here again in New England. They were a long time sponsor of the Red Sox. Genesee, another big beer here in the Northeast, has made a comeback. That's made in Rochester. You know, nostalgia sells, and those names, whether the beer's good or not, people remember their fathers or grandfathers drinking them. And a lot like Olympic, and I'm sure there's one for Los Angeles and Natty Boh in the Baltimore, D.C. area. Pitch to Landreau, it's ball 4. And so we got cardiac baseball here at 7 after 1 in the afternoon. Here's Steve Sax, he's 1 for 3. A double and a stolen base and a walk. Landreau's got 10 steals on the year. Olympia used to be brewed in Olympia, Washington, but now it's just a corporate brand, yeah. And there's, oh, good, you got 12 little microbrews in Bellingham. Yeah, we've got like 4 or 5 here just in Burlington. Throw to first, Landreau is back. And so Smith will now concentrate on Sax. Nobody out, top of the 9th, 3-3 to score. And Sax hits that one up the middle. Boa flips it to Wills over to Buckner. Better hurry. No. So Sax is on. He reaches on the fielder's choice. 1 on and 1 out for Rick Monday. With Knowles out of the game, Monday at 343. 3 homers and 17 RBI. Throw to first. Sax is back, but not much better of a chance here. So now they call for the pitch out. There goes Sax. Throw to Boa. Not in time. Tried a good jump off of first and stole that one all the way. So 14 for Steve. And the Dodgers had the go-ahead run on in scoring position for Monday. And you're not going to walk him because then you got to face Dusty Baker. So the pitch to Monday struck him out. A 1-2 pitch inside on the black. So 2 out for Baker. Guerrero on deck. Dusty is due. He is 0 for 4 today. Pitch from Smith. Struck him out. He swung on and missed. He wanted a homer, and Lee Arthur gave him a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 9th. In comes Tom Niedenfuer. It's the Dodgers 3, the Cubs 3. Niedenfuer in his 10th game. All out of the pen. Pitched yesterday against the Cubs. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, a run. It was earned. He walked 1. And so he's 2-2 on the year with 2 saves. This is his game right now. 3.48 the ERA. 10 1/3 innings, 11 hits, 1 homer. 4 walks and 9 strikeouts. And he took the loss. At Dodger Stadium, he beat them on May 19th in the inning. So it's Will, Sandberg, and Buckner here. Bottom of the 9th, cardiac time, Clinton. Your favorite. Pitch to Wills. Struck him out. He got him on a 1-2 pitch. He swung at the 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and there's 1 out. Here's Rhino. Ryan is 1 for 4. He is singled and struck out. And you talk about Guerrero, if this game goes to the 10th. Guerrero, as I said, if he triples, he's got the cycle. Anyway, we got to get there first. Pitch to Sandberg. Fly ball. Popped up. Popped him up. Sax is there. 2 out. There. That is my Harry Carey as a dog impression. Here's Billy Buckner. Billy's 1 for 4. He has singled an infield single and scored. Biedenfeuer delivers, and there's a base hit up the middle. So Buckner will hold. Remember, Belanger's a 5 at short, and Monday's a 5 and 8 and right. Those are the two defensive changes as we moved along. Here's Keith Moreland. He's 1 for 4. Singled and scored. And his 4 game-winning RBI on the year. Buckner, you dare? They're not paying any attention. Buckner's going for second. And he's in there with a stolen base. And believe it or not, that's an 8th of the year. And so on an 0-1 count, the Cubs have their winning run on second. So a base hit by Moreland would win the game for Chicago. So Biedenfeuer's got to be careful now. I wonder if they would walk Moreland. Durham is on deck. Here's the pitch. Base hit right field. Buckner will grow from third and do what? And scores! He scores! Buckner rounds third and scores without a throw. Walk it off, Keith Moreland. Hey! You just beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 4-3. And so the partisan, the friendly confines of Wrigley Field were extremely friendly for the Cubs. Holy cow! The Cubs win! So let's tell you how we got there. Steve Garvey extended his hitting streak to 16 as the Dodgers put 2 on the board in the first. Pedro Guerrero doubled home George Orta. And then Steve Garvey singled home Pete Guerrero to make it 2-0. Cubs put 2 on in the bottom of the second and couldn't score. Dodgers got up 3-0 as Pedro Guerrero hit a solo shot, his 14th, to make it 3-0. But in the 6th, the Cubs sent 7 to the plate. Scott Thompson, as a pinch hitter, hit a fielder's choice to make it 3-1. Larry Boa scored Keith Moreland to make it 3-2. Dodgers had their chances in the 8th. They couldn't do anything with it. Cubs tied it in the bottom of the 8th. Steve Henderson singled home Leon Durham. And then Keith Moreland singled home Billy Buckner to give the Cubs a 4-3 win. So Lee Smith gets the win. He goes to 3-2 on the year. Okay. Dickie Knowles, 6 in the third, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned. The home run, he walked 4 and struck out 3. Willie Hernandez, an inning and 2/3, 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout, but nothing on the board. And Lee Smith went 1 inning and walked a guy and struck out 2. He gets the win. Dave Stewart pitched a marvelous game. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, all earned. He walked 3 and struck out 6. Steve Howe gets credit for the blown save. 2 innings, 4 hits, a run it was earned. He gave up the run in the 8th. And then Tom Biedenfeuer gives up the winning run. 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, the run it was earned with a strikeout. So the Cubs go to 27-20, and technically now 5.5 behind the Expos as they beat the Dodgers 4-3. Here's your batting heroes for the game. Guerrero, as I said, was a triple short of the cycle. And Buckner and Moreland, that stolen base by Buckner really set things up. He went 2 for 5. Moreland went 2 for 5 as well. And give Larry Boa the MVP of the ballgame. 327, though. It didn't take that long to play it. And so there you have it. The final score. The Cubbies win 4-3. All right, so tomorrow we have a doubleheader for you. Toronto and Baltimore from Baltimore. First pitch around noontime, but it will be 2 full games as they did a Saturday night special. They had to rain out on Friday, and they'll play 2 on Saturday. So that'll do it. If you hung around, hopefully, if you hung around, hopefully you enjoyed it. So until tomorrow at noon, I'm Ron Juckett. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe, and thank you so much. We'll talk to you the next time.